Hey everyone, we're trying something a little bit new and different today. I'm going to be reviewing hidden objects games because that's a thing now. While I have done Let's Plays of these in the past, because of the way that, they're structured with the whole having to find things, they don't really make very good Let's Plays because there's a lot of just empty space of someone just like looking around the screen going, wrench, fish, fish. Anyone seen a wrench? Anyone seen a fish? Not seeing it. Oh, there it is. So we're just gonna talk about like the story and the mechanics and just how weird these things are. I've been playing them for quite a while. I think it was about 2008 that I started playing them when I was doing a nighttime job, and long games are lovely and all, but sometimes you just want to sit down and finish a game in a couple of hours. Just get in, get out, a quickie. And that's where a hidden objects game really comes to shine. Except, of course, sometimes it doesn't. Well, I wouldn't say sometimes. Barely ever. You'd think that considering that the only thing that you really need for these games is story, that you could have a story that was actually decent, but generally no. But before we just talk about how weird things can be without showing it, we're actually going to start talking about the game. Wouldn't that be nice? Today's hidden object of choice is Sinister City, a game with a rather dubious release date. I can't confirm if this came out in 2010 or 2011, but based on some of the wording, I suspect it might have come out a couple of years beforehand for maybe like the Palm Pilot or like, the Hip Top. I think you guys call it a Sidekick or whatever in America. Either way, it has a PC version, it has a Mac version, and now it's available on iOS because everyone must have the Sinister City. And let's just start with the blurb on Steam. Who wants to name their town Sinister City? Vampires, of course. When John discovers his bride-to-be has been kidnapped by Sinister City's #1 bloodsucker, there's only one thing to do. Search for hidden objects and kill vampires! Or at least insult them until they give you your girl back! You can positively hear that we're trying to be weird and wacky, oozing from every pore of that description. And then there's this.
So, you've come for a behind-the-scenes look at my newest blockbuster, Count Dracula's Treasures. John and Nina shared a love that would rival the most classic romantic characters. There were strolls in the park, movie dates, and kisses stolen beneath the stars. But one night Nina disappeared, and so John set out to find his bride.
Just what in the world was that? This guy comes back a couple of times, and each time he's like desperately trying to break the fourth wall, like he's some sort of real life person.
Oh, Nina, where are you? Our love was never made to face such troubles.
Oh yes, such troubles indeed. Now you'd think that maybe he would go off to the police and file like some sort of missing persons report, but no, he just heads inside the closest hotel he can find.
Do you even know where you are? Right down the road is Sinister City, the abode of centuries-old evil, the center of vice, the source of endless sorrow.
Well, this seems like a great place to look for our missing girlfriend. What is it with these horribly named towns? I mean, Sinister City, Mean City, Sin City. It just seems like a terrible way to go about tourism. Well, maybe not Sin City, that could actually be kind of fun. Anyway, I digress. We're at a very important crux. The first introduction to a puzzle in any game, whether it be straight up adventure or hidden objects. It dictates the tone and the main mechanic for the rest of the game. In most adventures, it, largely just makes you go around searching for people and collecting shit to use in puzzles, but in hidden objects games, it's generally why you're looking at a bunch of shit and just picking it up. Again, generally it's just, we're missing this object, oh, here's some junk. But Sinister City feels like it needs a little bit more explanation than that.
It seems nothing will change a foolish mind, so I'll cut you a deal. My new fan blew around my hotel receipts. Find them, and you've got yourself a room.
His new fan blew his receipts all around the room. And as unlikely as this seems to be, I'm kind of surprised he didn't get off his probably bed-sore covered ass and just pick him up himself. But then we wouldn't have puzzles, right? Actually, no, we probably would have puzzles, just not inane ones.
You know, Johnny, it's not easy to work here. Yesterday, I was run ragged by some hoity VIP guest, and I lost all the vacant room keys, including yours. Can you find them for me?
Yesterday. Some jackass threw around all your keys yesterday, and you still have done nothing. Are you attached to that chair, sir? To the greater insult is that half of the keys are still up on the pegboard. That is just sheer laziness, sir. But let's talk mechanics. Like in most hidden objects games, you get a list of objects to search for, and the list is pretty random, and that generally, in doing so, you pick up the objects that go into your inventory for later use. Now, where Sinister City departs a little therein is that this mechanic is not in every scene. Some scenes are just you looking for objects for your inventory, so there's no list, and while this does feel a little bit more natural and freeing, it also gives you no indication when you're done in any scene. So, more often than not, you'll end up coming back to the same scene several times in hopes that you'll find that last missing piece. In addition to this, the game also has a couple of movable pieces, so they're not just hidden in plain sight like most of these games. It is also occasionally rather cruel in its outlaying of objects. Generally, you get a rather complete picture of an object slightly obscured, but a couple of times you'll just get the tip of an object poking out, barely giving anything away. At least Sinister City doesn't penalise you like most games, and you can click on the screen as many times as you like. Right, so we have all the keys now, so I suppose we should actually just, talk to this guy.
Thanks, Johnny. So, what brings you to our dicey little neck of the woods?
My bride-to-be is missing. She disappeared without a trace. Well, almost. Bat droppings were found. I heard rumors that she was spotted in Sinister City.
What's your fiancé's name? Do you have a photo?
Nina. Her name's Nina. I carry a photo in my pocket.
She's beautiful. Looks just like a movie star. But why is she with you? No offense, but you're not really the Hollywood hero type.
Watch it, mister.
So, now might be a good time to talk about the dialogue. Is the dialogue in Sinister City good? Well, it depends on your definition of good. It's very melodramatic and subpar, but man is it ever bizarre. John in particular has some rather weird phrasing and keeps referring to his girlfriend Nina as his bride. And the voice acting of everyone is just weird, and it makes it like the greatest thing ever. Sometimes people go off on the weirdest tangents, usually leading this very odd storyline into some very weird and banal puzzles, but in a way they are the glue that holds this game together. So you bet your sweet ass we're going through some of the weirdest ones. So what have you got, hotel manager? What storyline are you going to send us on?
Okay, take it easy, cowboy. I like you, and I want to help. I'll arrange a telepathic communication session for you. Follow me to the storeroom.
You have an astral projection machine. I know he calls it a telepathic communication session, but it's an astral projection machine. And, you get to use it because you picked up some keys and some receipts. Once you fix it, of course. This hotel manager really should just get some help. He clearly cannot take care of this hotel by himself. But speaking of fixing things, once you get all your inventory pieces together, you sit down and do a good old-fashioned logic puzzle. These come up quite a lot in hidden objects games. A moment where you get to use your brain. Yeah, not in Sinister City. They're not bad puzzles, but they're not difficult. They're ones that you've probably done like a million times over. There is one that is a little pixel fussy, but again, nothing too terrible. Anyway, astral projection.
Not my fault if something goes wrong.
So we end up in this astral place of two floating islands with a windmill for no good reason that I can tell. It looks like a place where all broken and lost things have gone to die. Hotel manager tells you that you're too early, so you spend some time finding numbers and clock hands to fix a clock to push time forward somehow. It doesn't make much sense. If it's a telepathic phone, how can you be early? And how does fixing a clock push time forward? But we do get a reward for doing so. We get to see Nina's lovely face.
Nina? Is that really you? Or are you a spirit?
It's really me, darling. You must give up your search. Go home without me. These forces cannot be reckoned with.
What are you talking about, Nina?
Oh, John, I'm sorry I didn't tell you the truth.
Oh, John, I totally didn't dump you for some supernatural hottie. It's just too dangerous. You should go. Anyway, Dracula, shows up and calls John a non-entity. Actually, that's a pretty perfect name for him. So's Cardboard. Cardboard John. He lives.
Then you must stay in the astral plane forever.
I'm not sure how Drac Attack did that, but you know the drill. Find 10 shards of mirror and 5 keys, and ooh, I don't think that was meant to look like that. Simply fit the shards into the mirror and we're back in the hotel.
I should talk to the hotel clerk.
Really? How's he gonna help you?
It can't be. Count Orlok is only the oldest, strongest, and most powerful vampire in Sinister City.
Orlok? The Nosferatu vampire? Well, okay, game developers, you clearly did your Hollywood vampire research.
What on earth should I do?
Don't worry, friend. You're talking to the descendant of the country's best vamp hunters. I've got some old equipment for you in my storeroom.
Nope. You can't even pick up keys. You're clearly a disappointment to whatever vampire hunter spot. Okay, yeah, no, that sounds about right. I'll just go grab the map from our hotel room and... oh, it's you again.
Greetings, my young neighbor. I am the best film director this side of Hollywood, and the great-great-grandson of Louis Lumiere. Can I talk you into a chat?
Yeah, why not?
I must decline, Mr. Lumiere. That monster Count Orlok has kidnapped my bride. Either I stake him, or lose my love forever.
Ooh, Cardboard John is reasonable. Even if that was really flat for a declaration of intent to murder. I'm going to kill my worst enemy, but it's okay. I'm killing them with taxes.
How passionately you speak, son. Although, a character in a similar situation appears in my script. Find it for me, and I'll reveal how he handles it.
So are you directing this game as well as being an active character of this game? It just seems a little odd for you to be like, I wrote the script! Then, poof, disappear once you get it. Jackass. Well, let's get this map so we can finally leave this hotel, and it's ripped in little pieces, isn't it? Adventure games, we need to talk. This puzzle, stop it. There are many more inventive things that you could do with a map puzzle. Ripped up pieces of map, not the way to go about it. Stop it. One map reconstruction later, we head to Orlok's, who for some reason has a broken cane outside his drawbridge, because of course he has. Couple of things to find here, several cogs, filling up a jerry can with petrol, both found on the same screen, weak, and a skeleton leg to prop up a lever so the machine stays on? What was wrong with just a stick?
A dry and thorny bush is not that easy to search.
No, it's easy. You just have to be very patient. Anyway, let's reunite with Nina.
Nina, I've come to rescue you. The devil himself couldn't keep me from coming.
Don't be foolish, John. You must leave immediately. My father will kill you.
Oh, family drama.
Count Orlok is your father? What about your tears and tissue story about the poor actor and high society gal who adopted you?
Forgive me. I lied because I was afraid you'd...
It doesn't matter, darling. To be honest, I didn't believe you then.
What a trusting boyfriend.
My father is forcing me to marry Ipkiss, simply because he's a noble vampire and native Transylvanian. Worst of all, the wedding takes place tomorrow.
No, I won't lose you.
Ipkiss. I don't know any vampires called Ipkiss. The only Ipkiss I can think of is the Mask.
There's no hope for us, John. The door is bewitched.
Oh no, the door is bewitched! even though it clearly has a big gap that you can get through. Whoops. But that bewitching door, it just attracts all your attention and you just can't leave. I'm assuming she means curse because bewitching generally means attractive to the eye, or a spell cast by a witch. And Orlok being a very old master vampire, I don't think he's gonna be doing much witching. Considering the next puzzle is to make truth potions served in a horned helmet and tell him it's a health shake, yeah, he knows nothing about witchery. Actually, no one gave John this recipe. He probably just threw a bunch of shit together. Nina, I think John's trying to kill your dad.
What do you have there? A new bio-additive?
It's something like that.
Give it to me. At least, then I can say you are good for my health. I feel reborn. I'm gonna lay it all out on the line, kid. You're a good guy and all, but as soon as my daughter marries Ipkiss, she'll become a movie star.
But
Ipkiss is an anchorman on our local channel's most popular broadcast. You can't compete. I'm sorry. Nowadays, toothless mortals like you just don't have a chance.
I know I don't have fangs, and I'm not an actor, but I can support Nina's career just the same.
See what I mean about weird tangents? Yes, Orlok's goal is to make Nina a movie star, and somehow marrying her to a vampire anchorman is gonna do that? I don't think that's how celebrities work. But hey, maybe we can reason with vampire Ron Burgundy.
Stop right there! Where do you think you're going?
Oh, except of course security steps in the way. Some stupid costuming nonsense back at the hotel fixes that right up. But who will fix the perspective in this screen? Flaws. How do they work?
Can you tell me who is the most tragic figure here? Whose tears could fill an ocean of sorrow?
Me?
Quite the contrary. It's me. The 600th edition of my broadcast, Vamp Kids, is scheduled for today, but the generator has shorted. Oh, think of the children.
Oh, you are a treasure. Yes, this is Ipkiss. He's melodrama himself. And he's anchorman for a children's TV show. But hey, maybe I'm judging this show too harshly.
On my mark. 1, 2, 3. Hello, my naughty little girls and boys. Welcome to the 600th edition of Vamp Kids. Once upon a time, there lived a sad little vampire named Fred. He waited and waited, but his fangs didn't drop. His mom told him he needed to get enough sleep during the day to grow fangs. But naughty Fred would sneak out of his cozy coffin to watch TV or play computer games. He refused to turn
God,
into
am I
a bat
really watching a
because he was
demonic
afraid of
Teletubby
heights.
telling me about
And
the
he told
importance
his
of
teachers
listening to my
he
parents and
wouldn't read the
teachers?
Vamp classics,
Or I
not
won't
even
grow big
Bram
vampiric
Stoker's.
fangs?
So all the kids
I
had
wonder if that's what
fangs
happened to
on
Nina,
TV,
because
but
Nina
poor
doesn't have
Fred
fangs at
wasn't
all.
keeping teeth in.
Ipkiss, meanwhile, really seems to like us and does not want to marry Nina at all. The main reason? He is already married and he doesn't want to get divorced. Wait, isn't the wedding tomorrow? Isn't it a little bit late for that divorce, Orlok? Or are you all up for vampiric bigamy? Orlok's the only one who wants this marriage, and why does he want it? Well, all because he's never been a Hollywood star that he's always wished he'd become.
I know, but the Count is very powerful. He did try therapy for a while, but he had a hard time taking orders from someone else.
Therapy?
Yes, his therapist is Miss Janine Seward. Her office is next to the Vampire State Building. I'd be forever grateful if you could find a way to change Count Orlok's mind.
Ippy, I don't even want to know how you know what Orlok talked about to his psychologist. That's some real messed up patient-doctor's confidentiality there.
Seward's therapy. Who's there?
Ha! Right! So we're totally gonna break that rule too. I mean, we've already chased this storyline halfway across the map, so why stop there?
Hello? I'd like to have a psychological consultation.
I'm not feeling well. Please come back another day.
Well, that's fair enough, but that's not gonna get me to the end of the game, is it? If only there was something I could do. What could help a psychologist? It wouldn't be psychology for dudes!
Ooh, now that's what I'm talking about.
Wait, why do I need 6 copies of the one book to proceed? John, you know that more copies of the same book isn't gonna help you learn it any faster, right?
I'm many things, but a thief isn't one of them. I must pay for these books.
Right, this is another puzzle that I hate. The I'm not a thief one. You know the one I mean, like, where the player character refuses to pick up an item because then it would be stolen goods. But generally the way to solve it is to use stolen goods to pay for it. So, let's see how this one plays out. I mean, aside from the fact that this bookstore is unsecured and that there's no one working there, where could we source the thing that we need to pay for 6 copies of Psychology for Dummies? The open car right next to us? You'd think so, but no. Actually, it's the bookstore's locked post box. But where could we find the key for that? Oh, I know. From the bookstall. So I can't borrow a book to use in some way with the intercom that's right next to the bookstall, but it's okay for me to take a key from the wall and open their secured private box? Oh, but we can't take the book from inside the post box without paying for it either, so we need money. How about these 6 silver coins from the ground? I'm sure these probably cheap pelt coins will be enough to pay for $120 worth of the same book. John thinks so. John, maths, learn it.
Hello. I know all about the condition that you're suffering from. Surely a competent therapist like yourself should know the psychophysiological law of the proportional relation of the feeling intensity to the logarithm of the stimulus intensity, shouldn't she?
What made you think I'm unaware of it?
Ah, the effects of the condition are increasing. I'd like to help you, Mrs. Seward.
Ms. Seward.
As you wish.
Well, come in.
Of course it worked. So she gets us to search through her office for some ink blocks to test us. Oh man, I know this is a hidden objects game, but this lady has a real weird assortment of objects just all around her office.
Unlike me, you're psychologically competent. And quite healthy.
Lady, we used 6 copies of the same book to get in here. If we're healthy, you're really messed up.
I can't think. My migraine. Where are my green tea bags?
Right, in less than a minute we need to go through all of her 3 areas again, because she needs green tea to get rid of a migraine. That's really not going to help with the migraine. You need help, lady.
Oh, much better. That pain was unbearable. You're like a knight in flannel.
Knight in flannel? Well, that's a new one. Anyway, she just used all the dirt on Orlok because, she's not meant to do that. But she'd rather talk about John and her.
The thing is, his daughter is my bride.
Your bride?
Yes, but Orlok is against...
I see.
He won't listen to reason.
Oh, Cardboard. What a love the 2 of you might have shared. But before she lets you leave, she has 2 more minigames for you. Lady, get some help. Especially since that last minigame was a little pixel obnoxious. You have to click on the same pill as the cup that's being held at the bottom of the screen.
Decided to poison me,
I could do it, and no one would know.
Okay. I'll give you a piece of advice. The only person who can influence the Count is his wife.
How can I find her? Where does she work?
Where would a bloodsucker with the natural gift of persuasion work? At a real estate agency, of course. Her office is in the Vampire State Building. Now, goodbye forever, you handsome manifestation of my childhood complexes.
It's over. We never have to see her ever again. Mommy Dearest works right across the road. Convenient! And she's not opposed to John and Nina being together, and also has no name. For her untitled woes, she wants John to A. Fix the air conditioner, B. Install software on her computer because her accountant is sick, and lastly, she wants a cup of coffee. Smell the bullshit puzzles. Her plan on getting John and Nina together is rather simple. Get Orlok an acting job he always wanted. Now if only we knew a director.
There's a film director named Lumiere at my hotel on Central Street. Maybe he could help us. Imagine, Count Orlok playing the main role.
Gosh, how utterly convenient. And John's part of it? I'll let John explain.
Thanks, Mom. I'm going to kidnap Nina back.
Really? And skipping to Mom? So soon? I don't even know if Nina actually wants to marry you. She may be more interested in the bewitching door. And getting Orlok off your back? Though really, he's just sitting in his study not doing anything. It's not like he's going anywhere. Mama Vampire gave us a sleeping amulet to use on Orlok.
Talk about dampening the senses. Count Orlok's passed out. Now I can easily steal my bride.
And then we found 7 seals to unlock the door. How this made sense in the minigame that ensued? I don't know. There are certainly more than 7 pieces here, and they're not seals.
Oh, John, I have cursed you a traitor and a coward. I thought you would never come. Say you'll forgive me, my love.
You told us to leave, and then we promised that we were going to solve everything. I'm just not feeling the romance here. Maybe a kiss would fix it?
Quick, let's get out of here. Mom is waiting for us at the TV studio. I'll explain everything later.
John, I don't think you should call my mother Mom. It makes us sound related. So it's probably best that there's no smooching in this game. Back on the set of Vamp Kids, because you really missed being here, didn't you? All of our friends are here, thankfully without the psychologist. And we're going to prepare a set for Orlok to perform on. Yeah, perfect time for a friendship montage. Teamwork. Yeah. 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 Or you could all just stand there, you bastards. A ladder puzzle, a light puzzle, a clap puzzle, and a tidy up later. Orlok shows up.
Traitors! How dare you! She belongs to me! Daughter, you deserve more than that frail and mortal fool. Anyone who tries to stand in my way will be impaled by my fangs!
Bravo! Bravo! What emotion! What authenticity! Fantastic! That's exactly what I've been looking for in my new movie.
Who invited the paparazzi?
Why? Why would you say that?
No, no, Count Orlok. I am the great director, Mr. Lumiere. I want you to star in my new thriller, Count Dracula's Treasures.
And you're not helping. Luckily, this is the end of the story. Orlok's happy to be acting and lets John and Nina be together, and Ipkiss doesn't have to divorce his wife. Happiness all around. Well, not quite.
John, you'll be playing the victim now. Orlok, bite John in jest. There's a blood packet under his collar. What are you doing? We're just acting, remember? Somebody call an ambulance.
Spooky. And that was Sinister City. Was it a good story? No, I don't know. But let's look at it in the overall picture. Playing it fresh, the game lasted me about 3 hours, and while that's slightly on the short side of a hidden objects game, the oddity of it all gave it a good pace and it never outstayed its welcome. Any longer and I think the whole absurdity of it all would wear. Playing through it again half that time, and for the last achievement on advanced mode, I ran through it again, skipping through most of the story, and I finished it in about 30-40 minutes. Yes, all the achievements of this game on Steam is something that I can now claim to have. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Ease of use, well, it's easy to use. The tutorial gives you pretty much everything you need at the beginning, but it's not very polished. It did do a couple of interesting things compared to other hidden objects games, like having the two different types of hidden object gameplays, but they never quite told you when you were done with any scene. But the one thing that I did really like was that once you found an object in any scene, they didn't respawn when you returned. So even though you did go back to every scene at least twice, there was less and less stuff each time, so you could get through it more quickly. But it's not even the unpolished design structure of the game which is a weakness. There's also, of course, the graphical mess-ups. Specifically the outdoor perspective scene. It's mostly only in 2 scenes, outside the hotel, which you don't really spend any time in, so I can understand that being missed, but most notably outside the TV studio. You're telling me no one noticed that. And just the boring normality of puzzles. We're in a city of vampires, and I'm installing accounting software. I think the idea of it is just the sheer everyday nature of the puzzles would be funny in that situation, but at a certain point, it's really not. And there's also not many extras to this, which, considering this game came out in 2010 before extras became a pretty much expected thing, well, there is an advanced mode, which is basically without the helpful sparkle that leads you in the right direction when you get lost, and it doesn't have a tutorial. That's the only difference. Now, the biggest question to any game review is, would you play it again? Well, most hidden objects games, even good hidden objects games, the answer to this usually is no. It's a fluff story. You play it, you know it, you move on. But I'm gonna answer this more as how did I feel about it playing through again? I found it just as hilarious as the first time I played it. It's not a good hidden objects game. It's got a really bad story and woeful dialogue, but it's funny. It's just funny. It's just, you know, it just gets odder and odder, and even correctly translated, this would be odd. I recommend it to people just to play. Though I would say wait until it's on sale for Steam or, you know, the iOS store, because then you'll probably get it for like $1 or $2 rather than, you know, $6. It's not worth $6. It's definitely a lower price one. But I think you genuinely will have joy in it. Even though you do know some of the things from this review, I think you'll still have you know, fun with it. So, Sinister City is a sinister yes. I think we're done here. I'm gonna go. Bye-bye.
One royal burger, please.